to say this lyric again. Hello, my lyric lovers. It's Cher back with another video. And of course, we had to check out Mitski's new album called Nothing's About to Happen to Me. We listened to 2 songs earlier this month, I believe, and I liked both of them. So I'm very excited to see how this album turns out. I don't know too much about the background of this. I've been kind of out of the loop, as you know. So let's go ahead and take a dive in a lake.
Gotta write your book early, or it gets written up in your place, where you never get away from your first love. It's like one brand of soap sold in town, 'cause anyone you can get close to smells like your first time around.
I like what she's talking about thematically, about how she'd never live in a small town because she's made too many mistakes. So it's really interesting because I completely relate to this song, even though I didn't necessarily come from a small town. I did spend a lot of time in South Florida. That's where I lived prior to moving to DC. If you've been watching my videos since the beginning, before I moved into DC, you remember my old videos in my apartment. But then I moved to DC, and I think one of the reasons why is because I just wanted this fresh start. And I love living in a bigger city because it's like you can have these new lives all the time. There's so many different niche communities where if you kind of get a little bit ostracized from one group, you can go ahead and you can start over. You know what I mean? You can start over and over and over again, and you don't have this attachment. Meanwhile, in a small town, you might know the same person and be in the same circles the entire time. So there's something about having that new slate.
In a lake, you can backstroke forever. The sky before you, the dark right behind. Big city,
yeah, that's what I was saying.
And everywhere you go makes your heart ache, where you've done enough walks of shame. Some days you just go the long way to stay off of memory lane. But in a lake you can backstroke forever. The sky before you.
Okay, orchestra. Harmonica in there.
Big city, you can start over. The lights.
Okay, looks like we're gonna get some nice classical notes in this album. I'm looking forward to that. I feel like she's talking about more than living in a small town or living in a big town. I feel like this is a kind of analogy to some greater message that she's trying to send. And I'm not quite sure what it is on my first listen, but I wonder what she's making a reference to with this whole song. I honestly don't know that we're just talking about a big city, you know? Like, I think she might be talking about her life. She could be talking about fame. You know, there's something deeper going on here that I don't know. But there's a couple verses in the song that I really loved. So she goes, but in a lake you can backstroke forever, the sky before you, the dark right behind. And in a big city you can start over, and everywhere you go makes your heart ache. When you've done enough walks of shame, some days you just go the long way to stay off of memory lane. So I'd never live in a small town. I'm slow to learn all the rules. I've tried very hard to be good, but when they think you're bad, people act worse. That last line is interesting. I don't know that I necessarily believe that. I sometimes think you can get taken advantage of when you act too good. You know, people think they can kind of run one over you. So I'm wondering what her experience has been where she feels that way. The part that I really related to on a personal level was when she said, and everywhere you go makes your heart ache. And when you've done enough walks of shame, some days you just go the long way. Ever had a relationship where you kind of frequented the same types of areas? You have that desire to almost circumnavigate, go the long way, try to find a different path, because these certain locations can consistently remind you of that person. And it's magnified when you live in a small town. It definitely happens in a big town. Big towns are definitely a lot smaller than you think. It's so interesting how memories are associated with locations and routines. And she's like, I've done enough walk of shames. And she could be talking about romantically coming out of someone's apartment, or she could be talking about something else, where she's like, I sometimes I go the long way to avoid those paths, you know? Yeah, I mean, I guess I suppose if people have a bad perception of you as a human being, or has a bad perception on you based on your previous behavior, you know, small towns, they don't give you that same opportunity to evolve. And I think that might be what she's referring to in these particular lines. And I think that's true. I think it's nice that you're not tethered to this version of yourself. And that can really happen in a small town. You can feel like you're not allowed to have this certain type of involvement because people have this perception of you that's already solidified, and you're frequenting the same places and you're meeting the same people in the same circles, and there's just not this ability to have a transformation. But in a lake you can backstroke forever, the sky before you, the dark behind you. That's, now that I'm saying it out loud, the dark behind you. That's definitely a metaphor. I think with the dark behind you, she's talking about all that trauma or mistakes and all the darkness that you have. You can leave that behind you. The sky before you is giving you hope, you know? Seeing the endless amounts of sky, there's some type of symbolism in that. I agree with you, Mitski. I would never live in a small town again, and I didn't even live in a small town. I lived in South Florida in a medium-sized town. We relate. We're twins. I love it. I just had my birthday on the 25th. This is when I was like 15. I used to model. My skin is just so beautiful. I mean, I have decent skin, but just looking at me as a teenager, it was just so cute. My mommy got this for me. I thought this was so sweet. I just wanted to share it with y'all. That's it. That's all. Okay, I just made some minor adjustments. I just look better without the jacket. I'm a little chilly. We'll suffer. For style, for fashion. Okay, so the next song I've listened to, I absolutely love the next song. It's called Where's My Phone? I don't know that I'll say much else, but I think anything else that comes to me, I will definitely say. Where's my phone? This is what I do in my house. Okay, somebody told me what the ditch comment meant, and I will pull that up because I do want to talk about that. Okay, so Aunt Hill said about 10 days ago, I definitely believe she means that even the people of lower class look down on her. A woman always on the street sounds to me as someone who doesn't have much structure in her life, so homeless people or addicts called me a ditch on my block, she said. The person is using a ditch on a block as a metaphor for the protagonist of the song. As a ditch isn't conventionally desired, the lady on the street is essentially telling Mitski she's useless and unwanted. You know, it's like somebody going through a hard time telling you you're going through a hard time, and you're like, wow, I must really be going through a hard time. They're telling me I'm going through a hard time. So that makes complete sense. And it's just going on that whole theme in the song where it's like, where did I go? How did I get in this situation? How am I so far from myself? Where's my phone? That's a metaphor. Where am I? Where did I go? What's going on? What happened to me? You know what I didn't say last time? Oh my God. See, this is why I gotta listen to these songs again. or like a bug floating in the melted amber of a citronella candle. I fucking love that! I love that! Because a citronella candle is something that you put out to kill bugs, to keep bugs away from you. And so the bug has died. And so she's making this incredible metaphor, but also imagery of this bug dead floating in this citronella candle. I love that. Clear wax melted in the dough. Just continuing on that metaphor. That's my favorite thing to do in writing. A lot of artists do it too. I call it stretching a metaphor, where you start with a metaphor and you just keep going and going. You don't just do a metaphor for one line. You keep going for the next line and the next line. And so this metaphor is just kind of stretching to encapsulate all of these emotions that you're trying to express. And that's the beautiful thing about metaphors, which is particular metaphor as a simile, is that it does more than what language provides. That is the point of lyric writing. That is the point of writing, is that it does more than words provide. That is why lyric writing and poetry was invented. That's literally what it is. Because language can only do so much. So we have to find these ways to twist things so that it captures what we're feeling. Because sometimes saying, I feel like, a dead person, whatever she's trying to say, it's hard to say it in words. That's why I cannot say it. That metaphor is like, oh, I get how you're feeling. I don't know why, but I fuck with the song. I even like the weird, little grungy-ish, whatever the genre. I like it. I don't care. Hey y'all, so I'm gonna be completely honest. I listened to the last song, Cats. Was it Cats? Yeah. I listened to the last song, Cats. You can hear all the audio, but the camera quality was really, really blurry. And I thought about just putting that up, but I just don't want to do that to you guys. I really want this channel to be a little bit higher quality. And it's going to be a journey. I definitely am in the bottom tier of that journey, but slowly but surely we're improving things. So let's go ahead and listen to Cats again. I will say, just off the bat, that this song made me very sad, very kind of depressed, which is exactly what the song is meant to do. It's capturing a very dark, depressing moment in Mitski's life, where she's kind of grieving the fact that this relationship is ending. She's with her cats. There's this beautiful imagery with the cats. Her vocal delivery really hit me. It just made me feel very, very numb. And I think I said something about this being not only a stripping of a relationship, but also a stripping of her identity. So let's go ahead and listen to Cats again. And I got coffee. I love that.
I still love you, so it's up to you if you choose to go. In the meantime, sleeping by my side, our two cats, making sure I'll be alright.
So something I didn't notice the first time I listened to this song until the later stanzas was the fact that it's our cats. This is not just her cat. These cats are comforting her, but it's also her partner's cats. Is that her partner's cats? Are they gonna have to take the cats when they leave, So it's very important that she says our cats. These cats are part of the relationship. They are part of the relationship. Lighters.
It's so hard, but it feels simple to me. It feels so simple to me.
I love that. I'm listening to it for the second time, so I go a little deeper. That's why I'm already having so many thoughts. This part where she goes, you say it's so hard, but it feels simple to me. It feels simple to me. There's a reason why she repeats that in the lyrics. She's emphasizing that. To this person I'm with, This relationship feels hard. Everything feels complicated. There's this complexity there. But for me, it's so simple. It's so simple. I don't get why you don't get it. Why don't you have the same love and the same ease that I do? And that's just, it's so brutal. It's so brutal. It reminds me, I always think of the Imogen Heap lyric, I have enough love for the both of us. That's one of my favorite lyrics from Imogen Heap. I'll put a little clip of that. I'm talking about a lot of music in my channel now, but now my head is an encyclopedia of artists.
Hold me for any longer. But you want for the fear of love. Or don't you believe enough? Well, I'll cover both of us. You get. Leave that to me.
Oh, I love this lyric. Okay, so in Closing In by Imogen Heap, she says, did you walk for the fear of love, or don't you believe enough? Well, I'll cover both of us. You can leave that to me. And that's what this whole album is kind of touching on, with Mitski being like, if you don't like me, I'll change. If you don't love me enough and you think it's complicated, I think it's easy. I'm gonna carry the burden because I love you so much that it's like, you need to figure it out over there, and I'll do whatever it takes to figure it out and make this work. And that's not good. That is not good. But we've all been there, right? We've all been there.
So I've been trying to stop trying to be like someone you'd still love. Maybe if I could, you really would.
Oh my God. Oh man, I hope this is recording. I hope this is recording. I told you the second time sometimes hits you the worst. The second time hits you the worst. Oh my God. I'm dying. I'm gonna start crying. Woo. Do y'all hear that lyric? Do y'all hear that lyric? Oh my God. Everything in me just stopped. Everything in me just stopped. Oh my gosh. Let's just read the whole thing. Let's just read the whole thing. I'm crying. Okay. You say it's so hard, but it feels simple to me. It feels so simple to me. You notice how she added the so? I'm sorry, I'm always making notes. But it feels simple to me. It feels so simple to me. So I've been trying to stop trying to be like someone you'd like. Maybe if I could, you already would. It's like, as much as I try to be someone that you like, if I could have done that, I can't change myself. That's what she's recognizing in this song. She's like, I'm trying so hard to not try to be someone you like. I'm trying hard not to change myself because the reality is I can't do it anyway. So why am I trying? It's a lost cause. It's a lost cause. It's just, it hits you in the soul. It hits you in the soul. I love that. I love this song. This is the second time. I love it. Okay, the imagery of her just sat in the bed, and she's so specific to say our cats, and the cats are near her. She's just having a moment. She's emotional. Cats are comforting her, but they're our cats. There's an emotional layer to that. Oh man, she says it at the end. No! With her lover. They took the dang cats. And she was using the cats to comfort her. So not only is she losing the partner, she's losing the cats. I hate this for her. I hate this for her. I hate this song. I hate this song. Oh my goodness. That's so emotional. I started picking up more stuff as I re-listened to it. This is a heartbreaking song because she's losing the cats, she's losing her partner, but more importantly, she's lost her identity. This whole time, she's clinging on to her partner, she's clinging on to the cats, and while she's clinging on to these two things that are not going to be in her life because of this inevitable breakup, she's also losing herself by trying to be something that her partner will actually like, which she recognizes is impossible. There's a lot of mess happening. This is heartbreaking. I'm sorry, I'm loud. I am loud. That's what people don't realize. I'm a very calm, mellow person, but when it comes to like loving art and music, I do get very loud. I'm so sorry. If you don't like that, you're probably not. If you've been here, you know. I get into it. It's like sports for me. Okay, so we're gonna go to If I Leave, which I have not heard. So let's go ahead. She's very specific. Nobody knows about this. I also love that first lyric where she says, if I leave, somebody else will love you, but nobody else could forgive me quite as often as you. So what I'm getting from that lyric is that this person, I don't want to say tolerated, but was very embracing of all of her flaws, if that makes sense. And she's worried that she's not going to find someone that accepts her the way that this person accepted her. You're going to find someone that loves you, but am I going to find someone that accepts me and accepts my flaws and is as forgiving as you have been with me? And do it as often as you have. She has this fear. And a lot of that comes from her struggling with, that song where she talks about how her mind is a mess. She has this perception of herself as being almost unlovable, very flawed, someone that is very rarely accepted. There's a little bit of that going on. There's an insecurity going on within her where she's like, she clings on to people because she has a mindset of scarcity in her lyrics. I'm not secure in myself and I have this fear of like, maybe I'm not gonna find this love again. Even if the love is imperfect and not working out and completely, crumbling in front of my face, my fear is that I'm not going to find it again. So I'm going to cling on as hard as I can. I know you're going to find someone to love. And that's so interesting because it's like, she has so much hope for this person. She sees this person as high and above, but she doesn't believe that she's going to find anything.
If I leave, somebody else will find you, but nobody else.
Yeah, going on that theme. I love the little, it's very simple, but the instrumental is kind of cute. Depression girlies, stand up. I love this lyric. If I leave, somebody else will find you, but nobody else could see me quite as clearly as you. It's just going on that theme. Like, I don't believe anybody's ever going to find me or see me or accept me or be okay with my flaws and my insecurities that you've been able to look past and forgive and just navigate with me. There's been an element of this person accepting her, and she's struggling to see herself as someone that someone else would want to deal with, essentially. Like, and if you have in this part in the bridge where she's like, She starts off in the chorus, only you know, I've let only you know how I ride through the tunnel and it's dark the whole way. I ride through the tunnel, it's been dark the whole way. I ride through the tunnel, it's still dark the whole way. She's opened up with this person about her darkness. That is so hitting me. Is feeling this fear of like, can anybody deal with my mental health? Because I can't deal with it sometimes. So how is somebody else going to deal with it? And when you find someone that is able to deal with it and is able to know your darkness and be in your darkness with you, you're like, I don't want to do this again. Only you know. I've let only you know how I ride through the tunnel and it's dark the whole way. I ride through the tunnel. It's been dark the whole way. So she's talking about her past. It's been dark for a while. I ride through the tunnel. It's still dark the whole way. No, it's not still dark. The Mitski emotional roller coaster continues. This is bad. Oh man, I've let only you know. Oh my God, what is she trying to do to us? I didn't ask for this. It's so painful. No. It's still dark. It's still dark. She was very specific. I have to say this lyric again. Only you know, I've let only you know how I ride through the tunnel. And it's dark the whole way. I ride through the tunnel. It's been dark the whole way. I ride through the tunnel. It's still dark the whole way. Oh my God. I need a moment. I need a moment. I really need a moment. Okay, we just gotta move on. We gotta move on. Okay. Where's my therapist? Do I gotta get on ChatGPT? Oh my God, I couldn't lose you. Wow, this is so layered. Oh God, it's getting worse. Man, that's what I said about her feeling unlovable. There's no way I'm making it through this whole album. I'm about to have a breakdown. This is bad. This is really, really dark. The end, I couldn't lose you. How could I lose you? I couldn't lose you. That's where the desperation comes from. Of like, nobody else is going to accept me like you do. And I also, she probably barely accepts herself in this song. I relate to it so much. And it's extremely poignant, well written. Simplicity in the instrumentals, however, it really, really works in this song because you really want to listen to the lyrics. And it really honestly bothers me. I know I don't know Mitski, I'm being a little parasocial, but just how she's like, of course you're going to find love. Of course somebody will cheer you on. Of course you'll find that. But she can't see it in herself. Like, that bothers me. But then I'm like, same. Like, been there, working on it. Honestly, this album is great. I love it so far. It's a little dark for me though. I'm trying to be happy. I'm trying to be happy, guys. I'm really trying. I need to blow my nose, so I'll be back.
Would you have liked me better if I'd have died, so you could tell my story the way it ought to be?
dark.
Since I'm only young, 'cause you're hosting the viewing, saying she.
So far, what I'm getting thematically from the song is it's all kind of leading to this one line, which I feel like encompasses the whole song. When I dream of flying, stab me 27 times. It's almost like she feels like she's being held back, or every time she gets a little bit of hope, every time she has some hopes and dreams, it's like she's getting pulled down, she's getting hurt, almost like they're slowly breaking her down. Even that part where it's like, you'll have to break in as I sleep. It feels like she's being broken down in a way. Yeah, she feels used. Ransack the house for what you'll auction, what you'll keep. Then embalm me up because you'll host the viewing, saying she gave her life so we could have her in our dreams. It's this continual sense of being used, owned, even while dead. Her autonomy is not being seen, even in this song. So that's interesting. I'm gonna need more time with this one. Definitely leave your comments below. Okay, next song is Instead of Here. Mitski is very big on personification. She's done that a lot in her other music, and she's definitely personifying death as a person who's speaking to her in this song.
She said she wished I'd known that I'm still just a kid, but knew I would call again. So she knows I'm back in case next time's really the end.
Interesting. She's personifying death as a woman in this song. I like the piano. I like the piano. This whole song is a personification. She's personifying misery. She's personifying death. I believe she personified love earlier. I really love her vocals in this song. It's taking me a bit to really grasp the song emotionally. I know she's sending definitely a message, probably similar to the themes in the earlier songs. It's just taking me a second to really grasp everything that's going on, as far as, because she's making so many personifications, so you have to kind of uncover all these meanings beneath all of that. It's a little little bit of a twang to it, a little bit of a twang. Oh, I like it. I need more time with that one. I do like it though. Her voice sounds great. Let me just go ahead and I'll read it and I'll see if I'm starting to get it a little bit more. Let me read it again. Right as I dip a toe in the abyss, a knock on the door saying, "Are you there, miss?" I stay quiet as can be. I'm not here. I'm where nobody can reach. I wonder if that's just on a psychological level. Instead of live, I was lying on the floor with death crouching beside me, and I still got up for more, saying, "I'm done after this." Does that mean she's going back to the person? And to think I did believe it, I'd gone nowhere. I've gone where nobody can reach. Death said I'd call, not knowing that I did. Death said I'd call, not knowing that I did. She said she wished I'd known that I'm still just a kid. Yeah, it's hitting some really the mental health stuff, and yeah, I mean, trigger warning. It's giving suicidal ideations. That's what it's giving to me. That I'm still just a kid, like she's still young. So she is grappling with these thoughts. She's reaching the end of her rope in this song, I feel like. And she's kind of hearing Death speak to her and be like, "You're still young." But then she says, "But knew I would call again." So she'd mosey on back in case next time's really the end. Oh God. Death knows that she's going to be calling her. She's going to be thinking about her. That's what I'm getting from the song. So instead of love, he said, "Lie down in the dirt. I look up at the night sky, wondering, is this what it's worth?" The stars never answered back. Huh. Yeah, I'm not sure. She says, instead of love, he said, is she talking about the person that she's with? Is it a he? I'm confused. I'm a little confused. But what I will say is she said, "I looked up at the night sky wondering, is this what it's worth?" So she's trying to find meaning here. There's definitely a bit of an existentialism theme going on here, trying to find meaning, spirituality. But as she's trying to find this, she's not getting any answers back. And so she goes into, "I got up when it was done and went where nobody can reach. So excuse me, I'll be opening my box of old friend misery, my secret treat." A little bit of like acknowledging that you can kind of rest in the misery, that she's personifying misery as an old friend, something that she visits often. It's almost like she tried to find this answer to life and meaning and stuff, but it never came, so she just reverted back to the misery. To feel like myself again, exactly what I said, like to go back to her old state. Like, so just, I tried, nobody was giving me an answer. I reached out to the sky for answers. I didn't get anything. And so now I'm going to revert back to my old friend misery. I won't be here. I'll be where nobody can reach. I don't know that part. I am not here. I'm where nobody can reach. Instead of here, I'm where nobody can reach. Maybe that just means that she's gone. You know, she's in another dimension in her head. She's not accessible to people. That might be what she's referring to in that. The next song is a song that I've heard before. It's called "I'll Change For You." I'm not going to say very much, but I will go ahead and listen to it again. Still love the vibe of this song.
Do I let our love die? They say they're closing. I'll do anything for you to love me again. If you don't like me more, I'll change for you.
Love it. I completely understand why that was a single. That is excellent. That is excellent. That's the best song on the album. That's the best song on the album. I love it. Absolutely gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous song. Now, I will repeat again, I'll reiterate that the whole concept of not only are you losing a person, but you're also losing a keeper of memories. Top tier. Love that. If you want to hear more of my thoughts, definitely go into my channel and listen to my reactions. One of the first videos since my time back. So the next song we will listen to is Rules.
1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
3, 4, 5. Okay.
All come over. I'll be dressed like your best idea. Number 2, number 4, I'm nobody's anyone.
1, 2, 3, 4. Tell me that you do more. I'm just kidding. I had to.
So 5, I'll be alone for a while, but I'm only crying 'cause it feels good. Oh, have a new haircut. I will be somebody else.
I'm loving the instrumentals and production on this album. This is giving a little bit of a country twang that we've noticed throughout the entire album. Not my favorite on the album. I did like it. I love the production. I love the instrumentation. It didn't speak to me like her other tracks, but I definitely don't mind it. It's not a track that I would skip in any way whatsoever. I think when I'm looking at the lyrics, it kind of feels like she's taking you through this journey, going from coming over to getting a new haircut. So going from seeing this person, being with this person, to having to navigate becoming a new person, cutting your hair, kind of going through that breakup process. And I think at number 6, she finds that light that she used to have before. So it's kind of taking you through that journey of getting through something. That's what I'm getting from the song. Number 1, I'll come over, I'll be dressed like your best idea. Even that part where she says your best idea is kind of going on that theme has in the whole album of wanting to meet this person's expectations, wants, desires. Number 2, you'll be gentle. Number 3, you will ruin me. So kind of talking about how this person has started out, and she mentioned this in her last song, accepted her, was gentle with her, was patient with her mental health and stuff like that. But then by number 3, once that person loses interest, you'll ruin me. And number 5, I'll be alone for a while. So this is post the relationship. She'll be alone, but only crying because it feels good. So that tells me it's getting a little bit cathartic. She's crying, but she's using those tears to express her. She's crying out of cathartic energy, like moving on emotionally. It's not crying because you're clinging on. It's crying because you're letting go. And then I'll have a new haircut. I will be someone else. And when I leave my body, please pretend that you don't see how I'm no longer there behind my eyes. So she is hoping that this person doesn't see how much she's lost herself because of this situation. And then 6 in the morning, I'll be woken up by that old light, So 6 is when you kind of come back to self. It's the end of it. You're coming back to self. You're becoming the person that you always were. So it's definitely taking you through a journey in this kind of numerical way, which I think is interesting. But yeah, that's my thoughts on that. Right, the next song is That White Cat. All right.
White neighborhood cat, marking my house. It's supposed to be my house, but I guess according to cats, now it's his house. Mama told me things will leave you.
interesting. I do like her vocal quirks and how she's delivering a lot of the lyrics vocally. It's not my favorite song off the album so far. I might need to listen to it a few more times. But it does have some interesting themes though. We're carrying on a lot of those death themes, thinking about how her life will be, how life would be, how the afterlife will be, what she's leaving behind, that type of thing. Interesting. Yeah, I think the reason why it's not really clicking with me as much is I'm not a huge fan of the ya 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 chorus. I would have probably preferred some type of lyric there. Instrumentally, it's a little bit, it's not really catching my attention too much. But there are some interesting things happening. I like this part where she talks about her mom. Mama told me things will leave you. They get broken. They get lost. The only thing you can trust is what you lived through. It's like the materialistic things, the things that are tangible, those things, they don't necessarily last. But what lasts are the life lessons that you take from all of that, you know? That's what really carries you on. But then in a way she twists that and says, well, when I'm gone, what life lessons will you carry? And what's interesting is, Mama, how about when I die? What do you hold on to? Typically, people aren't thinking about their parents seeing them die. So that is carrying on with that darker element of this album, is she's imagining how her mom will feel when she passes away, when typically you're thinking about your mom dying because they're a lot older than you. And so this kind of hints on the fact that she's having those ideations, thinking about the afterlife, thinking about death, thinking about her not maybe wanting to be here. So that's really, really sad. So she says, gotta go to work to pay for the cat's house, for the red corseted wasp who lives in the roof, for the family of possums, for the bugs who drink my blood, and the birds who eat those bugs. And I like that because it's really talking about finding meaning even in the smallest things, as we're all in this cycle of life. You know, even when I'm not loving life or whatever, my house is still a shelter to a cat. My skin is still blood to a fly, you know? And I like that she's kind of saying, and even on that and that last line where she says, what do you hold on to? She's holding on to these things. These things are what's keeping her going. She's thinking about how we're all just part of the cycle, right? I love how she describes the wasp as a red corseted wasp. I don't know what kind of wasp that is, but if you can imagine that it has this kind of red coat on it. Yeah, that's just super specific. You know, and it creates this image in your mind. I love how she writes imagery in her lyrics. Okay, next song is Charon's Obol. Charon's Obol.
At midnight, the dogs gathered around the house, around her house. Her heart was like a drawer. Meeting every night, keeping vigil in the place
Very soothing.
where their people went away, and so she'd wake the rest of her nights in that house,
Okay.
feeding all the hounds at its mouth. On her first night, wandering through the dark of her new house.
It's hard for me to pay attention to the lyrics because you kind of melt into the song. There's a lot of beautiful instrumentation going on. The vocals, the background vocals, very, very nice, very peaceful, soothing type of song. But she's obviously doing a lot of storytelling in her lyrics. We're being taken through a journey. I do notice that this song is in third person perspective. So she's either talking about herself, creating some distance by using a third person narrative, or she's talking about a specific story, a tale about this specific person.
As a bride, it's when she first saw them out the kitchen window right at 12 o'clock. It doesn't
Yeah, I'm kind of just loving the, you know what I mean? It's just so peaceful. I love it.
silent dogs of all different types. Be the talking coin in its mouth. Maybe with enough time tending to that ground, she can heal the heart of her house.
That was really relaxing. I love the production on these songs. So beautiful. I don't know much about Sharon's oboe, so I am going to look that up. So I'm on Wikipedia. Of course, I'm not overly analyzing the sources for everything. Sharon's obol is an elusive term for the coin placed in or on the mouth of a dead person before burial. Oh, that's very interesting. Am I saying it right? Obol? And then you go on and it says the custom is primarily associated with the ancient Greeks and Romans, although it's also found in Western Europe, blah, blah, blah. Although archaeology shows that the myth reflects an actual custom, the placement of coins with the dead was neither pervasive nor confined to a single coin in the deceased's mouth. The phrase Sharon's obol, as used by archaeologists, sometimes can be understood as referring to a particular religious rite, but often serves as a kind of shorthand for the coinage as grave goods presumed to further deceased's passage into the afterlife. I know I have heard a lot of things being put in the burials with people so that they can take it into the afterlife. I know I've definitely heard a lot about that, especially in Roman culture, perhaps, but I'm not 100% sure. But that is interesting. I know she mentions the coin in the song, in the lyrics. She took it on to start a new life in that house, be the token coin in its mouth. Be with enough time tending to that ground, she can heal the heart of her house. So yeah, so she's definitely making a reference there. Definitely could go deeper on that, but she's definitely referencing that in the song. Other than that, she's telling a story here, whether she's referencing herself or it's just a tale about taking care of these dogs that once belonged to a woman that is no longer in the house, has passed away. And I wonder if it's carrying that theme of maybe these women also passed away from some type of suicide or something, and she's also thinking of that, and so they're all connected in a way, and so she relates to these women. She says something about being stigmatized, so I'm getting that as well. I'm so interested in whether or not these dogs were alive and she was taking care of them, and she says it's almost like a vigil for the people that have passed. It says girls. I wonder if they were very young. She was almost one of the girls who died in that house. That's why I feel like it's hinting the themes before about mental health and ideations and all of that. Tell me what you think about this song. It's definitely really relaxing. I would love to know your thoughts. Okay, the next song, final song, is Lightning. Lower register in the voice.
Sounded like a big tin can. All hail the rain. All hail the rain.
I love it when she goes low.
Running like ghosts on the roof. Running like they're feeling alive again. Here we are, we've been waiting to be born again.
Marco Polo? That's fun. Okay, so that's the end of the album. Honestly, I quite liked it. So let's talk a little bit about this song first. So let's talk a little bit about this song. I thought it was a really nice ending track. I think it really brought everything together in the beginning. So in the beginning, we get this image of lightning and rain. I love the simile here, running like ghosts on the roof, running like they're feeling alive again. Here we are, we've been waiting to be born again. When I die, could I come back as the rain, see the world again, to fall again? So there's two different meanings that I could be here, and I'm not 100% sure. It's my first reaction. It could either be talking about the cycle of water, where with rain, it goes back into the sky and it falls again and it keeps going over and over again, the cycle of rain. Or she could be referencing this as a metaphor for her being able to fall in love for the first time again. Like, could I come back as rain, see the world to fall again? Or maybe a little bit of both. I don't know. And then I like at the end here where she goes, if I'm dark, all the better to reflect the moonlight. She's making peace with her darkness a little bit, trying to see the light of her darkness, almost in a literal way, because she's comparing her darkness to the night sky and how we need the darkness to be able to see the stars, to be able to see the moon. So maybe in a way it's necessary and you have to find beauty in it and acceptance in it, because we need that darkness to have certain things that we have, like to be able to see the light of the moon. You know, she's putting everything in a bow. It seems like she's having a little bit more acceptance with herself. If I mourn, all the better to behold the sunrise. I almost feel like there has to be darkness in order to appreciate the lightness. You know, you have to grieve, you have to let things out for you to see the light again, for you to appreciate the sunrise. You know, you can't have the sunrise if the sun never goes down. And then at the end, she says, I can hear the song of my death, singing for the lightning to come, calling to the thunder, Polo. So there's a little bit of an ache here. She's personifying death again. And death is singing for the lightning to come, calling to the thunder, Polo. And it's like, when you think about that childhood game we used to play, like Marco Polo, Marco Polo. So death is saying Marco and waiting and waiting and waiting to hear Polo. You know, when you used to say Marco, you're just waiting for the person to say Polo, but they really want the lightning to come. They really want that lightning to come, that light, I feel like, in that way. Okay, so it's the end of the album. My first thoughts is I really do like this album. I don't know where it's gonna fit. It's definitely not towards the end. It's definitely not towards the beginning. It's probably gonna fall right in the middle for me. I thought there was some really, really strong tracks on here. Absolutely love some of the lyrics. It absolutely blew me away. As usual, Mitski does not miss. If there's a song that you want me to listen to, definitely leave it in the comments below. So I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.